I really hope you enjoy this abstract sunset watercolour tutorial. Let's get started. I've decided to use an orange, 2 blues and a grey. You can really mix up and use your favourite colours for this. It doesn't even have to be a sunset. So I've used a card to actually squeeze the paint out on. I'm going to use that as my palette. I'm using cold pressed 300 grams watercolour paper, 9 by 12 inches. There is no drawing involved here. It's just kind of accidental, freeing up sort of watercolour painting. It's a great way to actually practice before you actually start a painting. And I've wet the paper using a soft haired brush, loads of water. But if you notice, I've actually left a dry patch in the middle there. You can actually put that a little bit higher up on the paper if you want, or lower down. I'm using a plastic card. I'm kind of sort of applying the paint here with the card. So I've got all 4 colours. And I'm going to actually paint or sort of drag the card above and below that dry patch area. And what will happen is the paper where it's dry will resist the paint, and you kind of reserve the white and light of your paper there, which is quite nice. But above and below that dry area, the paint will start to flow. And as you can see, this is where you can have some fun. I didn't start out wanting to paint a sunset. I was just being completely abstract just to see what happens. So as you can see here, there's loads and loads of water on my paper. And you can see that neutral tint is flowing down, almost losing control. Have fun with this and see what happens. So I'm getting a little bit more blue paint here, some of the Indanthrone blue, which is a very dark navy blue. You could use Prussian blue, ultramarine, or a completely different colour. But I'm applying it here in sort of quite sort of diagonal marks here and there, and again then tilting into those puddles. I'm going to use my Spritzer bottle just to get the paint going even a little bit more, introducing more water, and then tilting sort of diagonally to the sort of top left hand corner there, allowing the paint to flow to the top right hand corner as well. The secret to this sort of style of painting is less is more. Don't keep applying paint on top of one another. It will start to get muddy. So I am tilting literally at 90 degrees here, spritzing as well. And what happens is the paint starts to mix on the paper as well. I'm not worried about cauliflowers. I'm just looking for exciting things, and then I'm going to sort of go with it, see what happens. So I'm tilting sideways here, allowing the paint to flow just to see what happens. I love the Daniel Smith's Mayan orange. It's almost on fire. And I'm using a clean damp brush just to collect the puddles at the top of the paper. I'm tilting now, allowing all the paint to run down. And as you can see there, the red is starting to run, and a little bit of the blue is trickling through that red now. Don't panic when that happens, just see where it takes you. And I started to see a cloud forming, and as you can see there, I quite like that effect, just going with it. I'm still tilting, and as you can see, that blue has mixed with the sort of Mayan orange, and you're getting sort of a grey cloud effect. So I'm tilting sideways just to kind of get it to drift towards the left-hand side of the painting there. The magical thing that has happened, which I didn't plan for, right in the middle, I've got the sun, and it looks amazing. Running, it's like a drip of water that's running through that red there, or that Mayan orange, and it just looks, to me, sort of like the sun sort of coming through really sort of strong sort of orange clouds. I'm always changing the direction of my painting as well, just seeing if I haven't missed anything. Sometimes you don't spot the obvious, so I'm turning it upside down, allowing it to tilt, but also to see if I can see anything else. Maybe the painting works better this way up. But as you can see, I'm still allowing that sort of grey cloud to develop there on the right hand side, but it's sort of top left when it's turned the other way. collecting puddles with a clean damp brush there. Sometimes you'll find if puddles run back into a damp painting, you can get cauliflowers, which are quite nice. So if you like cauliflowers and back runs, just allow those puddles to run back in. I'm spritzing a hard edge here. This allows the eye to flow around the painting. Sometimes hard edges can block that, so it softens that. I'm just collecting the puddle with a J cloth. I'm turning my painting again, and the blue here is a little bit on the thick side, so I'm just diluting it by spritzing and allowing the paint to run down, and I'm doing the same with a neutral tint there. Again, it's the same way as a hard edge. That very sort of strong thick colour is pulling the eye out of the painting. But what I try to do is less, not more. And I'm just softening this thicker paint here with the tip of my size 8 round brush, just to blend it a little bit into the painting. I find painting like this very instinctive. I have had a lot of practice painting like this, and what I would say, what I've learned from that practice is try to do the minimal amount of brush strokes and don't keep applying paint, as your painting could be in danger of getting muddy. I'm actually painting a little bit of red with my brush here to kind of look like reflection in the water. I'm just getting a little bit more of that Mayan orange, and I'm just seeing where the sun is, and I've just swept a little bit of paint there onto the damp surface, damp into damp, for kind of like a reflection. And I'm using the Spritzer bottle just to soften that a little bit and let it sort of blend away and fade away. And I'm using some Winsor & Newton white gouache, using the tip of my finger just to get the paint straight from the tube. I'm just going to apply this to the damp surface so it looks like a reflection of the sun. So I've used quite a swift movement there, and then I've spritzed the bottom part with my spritzer bottle just to soften and blend into the bottom part of the painting. And I'm just applying the paint straight from the tube just on top of that white area there to really bring out the light of the sun. The cauliflower here on the right hand side really stood out too much. Again, it was on the edge, so I've spritzed it away, but in doing so it took off the paint, left the hard edge and looked too noticeable. So what I've decided to do is get a little bit more of that blue, literally straight from the tube onto the wet surface, and I'm just applying it damp into wet just to kind of create some more darks there, and then spritz and allow some of that colour to run down just to sort of look more natural and part of the painting there. And I'm doing the same with the mark at the top to kind of mirror what I've just spritzed below. I've removed the washi tape to reveal a lovely white border. And here is a close-up of the painting. I'm thrilled about the sun and all the abstract shapes and those gorgeous colours. I've thoroughly enjoyed sort of experimenting here. Yes, there could be more that I could do, but sometimes it's quite nice just to leave things like this. Enjoy the kind of experimenting and not feel you have to finish everything every time you paint. If you like this video and you'd like to support the work that I publish on YouTube, why not think about joining my Patreon membership? You will get access to my weekly exclusive tutorials and downloadable outline sketches. Details about the membership can be found in the description below. Just click www.patreon.com/Karen Rice Art. Thanks so much for watching. Happy New Year. Bye for now.